So one unique attribute of this experience that at the Chuck Jones Season of Creativity at the Great Park, it's the first time that I have been able to bring my computer engineering background into play. And although I'm not doing the development, I have been lucky enough to meet some folks down in San Diego who are creative technical geniuses who are bringing not only virtual reality experiences with what we do, museum experiences, but augmented reality experiences to what we're doing at the Chuck Jones Season of Creativity. So through a special link that the city is now proliferating, you on your device, your phone, your iPad, you click on it, and it then discovers where you are, anywhere in the world. And then the Looney Tunes characters begin to talk to you. And so you have the opportunity to have this dialogue from wherever, and it then zooms across the world or across the neighborhood to the Great Park to show you exactly where it is. And it then requests that you come and join. And so when you get there, there are characters that are established at certain locations around the Palm Courts Arts Complex and the surrounding areas near the Big Orange Balloon, near the Carousel, in the Palm Courts area, near the Green Belt, that you can go and find on your map, on your phone, and then you can click on the character, and it allows you then to bring that a three-dimensional version of that character right in front of you on your camera or your iPad, so that you can experience and create your own fun. So it's the first time that the virtual reality, augmented reality, and the Chuck Jones Museum and Center for Creativity have come together at once. So this is truly a cross-tech pollination of Looney Tunes, of history, of video, of experience that continues to evolve throughout the exhibition and all summer long. So it's pushing the envelope of how the museum experience is being experienced. Hi, my name is Craig Cousin. If you want to know more about the Chuck Jones Season of Creativity at the Great Park, listen to the interviews here. So the Chuck Jones Season of Creativity that is currently going on in the city of Irvine at the Great Park came to fruition from one of our board members, Fernando Del Rosario, who is a creative director and runs his own business and Concept Zombie, which is a great name. And so Fernando was out in the community and had all kinds of interactions with all types of people and partnerships that he's established. And he came across a gentleman, Kevin Staniak, who was in he's the arts director of the Great Park, and he and his team put on exhibitions at the Great Park. And so this it was nearly 3 years ago, around 2018, I think, that really these beginning conversations started to be done. And I have lived in Irvine for 30 years, and the Center for Creativity has probably performed and delivered more programs in the city of Irvine because of the after-school programs with the ACE enrichment, the after-class enrichment programs through Irvine Public School Foundations, in-class programs in Irvine, community locations around. So it was a natural next step for us to start these discussions about doing an exhibition with the city of Irvine at the Great Park. And they do quarterly events. And so we started to point to the summer of 2021. So we have a couple years to develop. A lot of the elements that were chosen were the elements that were actually in the Smithsonian tour. So when the Chuck Jones Center for Creativity and the Chuck Jones Museum partnered with Motion Picture Academy, the Museum of Moving Image in New York, and the Smithsonian to create this traveling exhibition, starting really development of that started in about 2012. and then toured around the country from 2014 to 2017, and then continued in the Schaumburg and Chicagoland area with Ben's proliferation of the exhibitions throughout the community there, that this was something that we could plan on, and so and really develop properly. And so our team, along with the city and Great Parks arts teams, got together and created the Season of Creativity, which is not only a museum exhibition, which is stellar. The objects in there, many of which have never been seen before. They're out of the Chuck Jones Museum archives and were specifically chosen to complement the types of things that were in the Smithsonian before. It's a very large space down there. So the challenge was to figure out how to tell a story and then complement it throughout the city with in-person programs like Saturday morning cartoons and drawing, which we have done in many cities throughout the country, and which are now being done once a month. We've got the Chuck Jones Big Draw, which is an event that started in 2011 and has been the same throughout communities throughout the country at different times, where many teaching artists get together, people come, they get to sign up or drop into a section. Maybe it's on how to draw Bugs Bunny, maybe it's on how to draw horses, maybe it's a photography, maybe it's a quick painting class, maybe it's an Acme Inventions that are going on in different areas within a destination. And sometimes it's been in a baseball game, sometimes it's been in a G League basketball game. We've done it in huge community destinations. We've done it in hotel rooms. We've done it in Comic-Cons. It continues to evolve, but the premise is the same, where you set the stage, you provide the materials, and then people have the opportunity to create. And sometimes through a guided, sometimes through just things are there, go ahead, create a character, and I'll be here in case you get frustrated. And so the teaching artists are there. So this Season of Creativity is a 3-month run that started on July 4th in 2021 and runs through September 12th. And there are programs throughout the city in the arts destinations, in schools, in the Great Park itself. There's a lecture series that goes on. There's Jerry Beck talking about the history of Chuck's involvement with wartime films, since it is a former military base. The tie-in of that is an interesting, what was going on in World War II in particular, when Chuck was working on Snafu cartoons and training films and with Warner Brothers at the time. And Eric Goldberg, the preeminent animation director and animator from Disney and Looney Tunes, will be speaking. And then we're going to do a collaborative effort on the history of Chuck Jones in September. So it is sort of this all-encompassing, hopefully citywide celebration of creativity. And Irvine is so multidimensional. And as I said, I've been here for 30 years, and all my kids have come up through the educational system, through the public schools here. And it just seems like a perfect way for us to share what we do with the Chuck Jones Center for Creativity with the City of Irvine and anybody from Southern California or beyond who wants to come and see it. I guess my hope is that when people come both to the exhibition, to the lecture series that happen, to the hands-on programs of Drop In and Draw, the big draws, all of the things that are associated with a Season of Creativity, that a person would be not only educated, but perhaps inspired, because everything that happened within these cartoons was being invented along the way. There was no animation process before the early 20s into the 30s. There wasn't a standard way. And Warner Brothers did their own thing to create a method of creating this byproduct, these cartoons. And so this pool of individuals that were working together collaboratively to create these funny cartoons to go out and entertain, I hope that people who experience it in any way throughout the season of creativity will potentially be inspired themselves to think a little bit more creatively in their own lives. I've been asked by both friends and extended acquaintances, whether it be on social media or in person, why should I go down there? Other than, you said it's very cool, and is this a must see? And I remember Chuck saying that, that you must. And he'd say, you know what? I don't have to, but I'm going to choose to do whatever it was. And so the idea that somebody would want to, and I think that I can nearly ensure that if you and the family, or whoever, the feedback that I've already gotten from the exhibition being open now, that it was an inspiring, informative experience, and that whether you spend an hour in there or 2 or 3 hours understanding all of the detail that's in there, there's videos, there's interviews with Chuck that are being shown on the top of his desk. So it's a nice interactive experience that it is an opportunity for the whole family to be together. And I'm talking grandparents, great-grandparents, great-grandchildren from the age of 3 or 4, because many of these characters are already on the tongues of young people who are talking about Tom and Jerry and Looney Tunes and all of the resurgence of these cartoon characters that Chuck made so famous. And to see how he created them nearly a century ago and evolved them over the last, starting as long ago as 90 years, that there's a history there that perpetuates. It is a family-friendly place, and the Great Park in itself is fun to go visit, which most people have not been to, but I encourage everybody to go, not just to this exhibition, to experience what's going on and what is new at the Great Park. So I am Chuck Jones's grandson. My name's Craig Causin. If you enjoyed this conversation today, I encourage you to come down to the Chuck Jones Season of Creativity at the Great Park in Irvine and experience all the lectures, the hands-on experiences, and certainly in the gallery itself, the exhibition that we've put together for you. Hope to see you there.